Here's Elita.
All right, 6:11 on this Wednesday morning. Some of you just joining us this morning. We appreciate you doing that. Live look at the visibility, and unfortunately, we've got another round of dense fog this morning until a cold front blows through later on this morning into the early part of the afternoon, and that's going to get rid of the fog, but also bring some scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'll slow down future track, give you the latest on your hour-by-hour forecast, and of course, the cool down behind this front coming up with my 10-day.
Alita, you also said, because you just never know when someone's going to break, you know, they might miss their exit, or, you know, we're busy these days.
Yeah, this is one of those mornings where definitely considering some hazardous driving conditions. You mentioned it, Lake Pontchartrain once again under the gun with some extremely dense fog stretching even beyond the Lake Pontchartrain area into much of the southeast. Look at the number of states under the gun for some very soupy conditions. That dense fog advisory locally until 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, closer to the coastline, similar to yesterday, that dense fog advisory will go until about 10 a.m. Some of that fog may even clear a little bit sooner, depending on when that front arrives in your neighborhood. Right now, we're timing out the front to move through the coastline between 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. But at this hour, you can see how bad the visibility has become. We're talking less than a quarter of a mile, near zero right now at Bush Airport. So whether you're driving to the north, toward the south, west, or east, much of our viewing area dealing with some dense fog. All courtesy of this front and the warm, humid air out ahead of it. That front is making good speed, though, already starting to push toward the hill country, and there's some cold air behind this. We'll get a piece of that cold air blowing in here in the days ahead, and it's got some staying power. Beyond the weekend is when we start to see some transition. So tomorrow, temperature readings will be falling somewhere in the mid to upper 40s during the morning hours, and then we get a little push of drier, cooler air over the weekend. That's going to send temperatures down into the low 40s. And as I mentioned, beyond the weekend, we slowly start to see a warming trend with some slightly better rain chances coming our way come Christmas Eve. So more details on that coming up. But first, a live look outside. This is our memorial camera. Unfortunately, can't see downtown because of that fog. Also very, very dense down along our coastal communities. That Galveston observation site reporting visibility at half a mile. Here's that line of showers and storms associated with that frontal boundary. The main energy from this front is going to stay well beyond our state. You can see that leading edge of showers and storms is a solid line coming across the southeastern fringes of Arkansas. And I point that out because we'll be on the tail end of that. So when we transition to future track, you will see that that broken line of showers and storms will further weaken as it approaches our coastline. For now, we're all good, nice and dry. You'll see that the fog slowly starts to clear by mid to late morning. Those of you on the northwest side of town, you'll probably want to grab your umbrella if you're going to be out and about in that 8, 9, 10 a.m. hour. But for those of you around Houston, notice how that line kind of gets shredded apart, and you'll notice as well that there still could be some brief heavy downpours. May need that umbrella between 11 a.m. and let's say 2 p.m. because by 3, 4 o'clock or so, the majority of that rain is going to be pushing off the coast there, and we're looking at some pretty rapid clearing and drying on the backside of that, along with some cooler weather. We're talking maybe 0.2 of an inch of rain if you're lucky. The winds will be increasing with this system. We're talking winds gusting between 25, 30 miles per hour in some of those windiest spots, and then settling as we get into Thursday morning. Once we get closer to the weekend, we've got that winter chill back as winter officially begins Saturday morning. And then we get into early next week, and that's when we start to see some changes. We'll start to see some clouds return, a slight chance for some wet weather. And right now, the afternoon highs on Christmas Day looking closer to the mid-70s, guys.
Okay, thank you, Elita. Well,
all right, waking up to widespread low clouds and fog this morning, but we've got a cold front that's going to help scour out those clouds. Speaking of cold front, the return of some rain across the area. First, just a few showers this morning, and then as we get into the lunchtime hour is when those rain chances and storm chances peak. I'll have the latest on future track coming up. All right, still no improvements out the door this morning, Rita. Still some widespread low clouds and fog. Temperatures have dropped off from yesterday's highs in the low 80s into the 60s this morning. Here's the latest visibility. Of course, the lower the number, the worse that visibility is in and around your neighborhood. That fog advisory until 9 a.m. And then we've got some rain in the forecast today. It's cold front day, and I'll have the latest details timing it out coming up.
And happy holidays to everyone. And so I'm here in the Weather Center with Elita Loresca. Elita, a little birdie. in my ear.
Okay.
Okay, told me a cold front is on the way.
Oh, very good. The birdie's very smart, very smart. Yes, we do have a cold front on the way, and it will be that cold front that brings us the relief from the fog, from the warmth, and the humidity. We go to the maps, and this has been the highlight, if you will, top of our weather story for the last couple of days. And you can see we've got another round of widespread low clouds and fog. The fog definitely becoming an issue for those of you early morning commuters, so please be careful out there. We've got one more morning of this, and then we've got some relief on the way. Dense fog advisories for all these counties shaded in gray, with the exception down toward the Barrier Islands, Matagorda, Galveston Bay, your dense fog advisory lasting until 10 o'clock this morning. But here's the front. This front is going to continue to slide toward the south and east, eventually making its way into Houston sometime around the lunchtime hour. 13 alert radar picking up that line of showers right now. Not a lot of thunder or lightning with this, but you can see that line is making its way along I-35 up toward the Waco area, and this is going to be sliding toward the south and east. So as we look at future track here, this is kind of a fast forward version, if you will. It should be sliding off the coast around 3, 4 o'clock. So let's slow it down and show you this line. It should remain intact as it moves toward the Brazos Valley sometime around 9, 10 o'clock or so. And then pushing toward Houston, where it starts to fizzle out a little bit. You'll see some brief heavy downpours. We've got a 60% chance for some of that rain to impact your neighborhood around 12, 1 o'clock, and then should be pushing off the coastline there around the 3 or 4 o'clock hour. So before the evening commute even gets going, it looks like the majority of the rain should be pushing offshore. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's a lingering shower or two along the upper Texas coastline. And then when you put it all together, this cold front may bring many locations 1 or 2/10 of an inch of rain, but pretty much that's it. Here's a quick peek outside where you can see, just a dreary start to the morning. Very, very foggy there. Bush Airport reporting near zero visibility along the coastline. This is our Seawall Boulevard, our Galveston camera, and you can see very difficult to maneuver through some of these spots. Temperature readings in the mid-60s there. Now the winds steadily picking up as we get into the afternoon and evening hours as the front moves through. We could see gusts anywhere between 25 to 30 miles per hour along the coastline, but even further inland, those of you north and west of Houston, let's say late morning, early part of the afternoon, our wind gust models are showing between 25 to 30 mile per hour gusts, and then that'll be spreading further southward as that front moves through. And then I think by tomorrow morning, the majority of us will be dealing with nice, calm winds. Here's a look at temperatures. Temperature readings in downtown, 64 degrees. The medical center also in the low 60s. Now, temperature readings are expected to warm anywhere in the, is that me? Might be me. Okay, it's my hair. Okay, thank you, producer Kate. In the mid to upper 60s, low 70s. Now, once the front moves through 1, 2 o'clock, we'll see that those temperatures steadily fall. So by the overnight hours, that front's going to be way offshore. Overnight, those temperatures will be falling into the upper 30s, low to mid 40s. Now, the difference tomorrow morning on who gets the coldest temperatures and who's a little bit milder will be the cloud cover. So if we get the return of some clouds overnight, temperature readings will pretty much go at a pause somewhere in the mid to upper 40s. But those of you that wake up to mostly clear sky, you may see those temperatures dip into the upper 30s. Don't worry, we've got the cooler weather that's going to stick around through the weekend. But heading into Christmas week, those temperature readings won't be quite as chilly as some milder air blows in. The afternoon highs will also be warmer into the 70s. Slight chance for some wet weather, but I think the bigger story coming up here for Christmas Day is going to be how warm it's going to be with temperature readings in the mid-70s.
Well, I guess the silver lining